Hi guys, welcome back to the episode 2 of our VOD review series whereby we check on the Master Ball leagues, the Great Ball leagues and the UBL leagues lah. Basically those that are documented on YouTube. We want to find out what decks versus these decks, which is better in a way. Okay, so moving into game 2 here, we can see that it's Dragapult versus some Tilma's deck. I think it's Arboliva, if I'm not mistaken here. So we have Isaiah versus Kino. No, that should be the first round here. But you can actually see the prices. A quick price check here, right? For the Arboliva players, because they only play 2/2 Chikorita line. So pricing one Chikorita is quite tough. To search for the Chikorita itself, they need to have Dawn. Okay, whilst the Dragapult player, they actually price Clefairy. But in this matchup, Clefairy isn't that big of a deal unless they really need to go for the two price knockout using Clefairy's attack, the Full Moon Rondo, onto something like a Tilmas Ogopon. That is if and only if the Tilmas player actually benches full. Okay, so we can see that the starts here are quite straightforward. Tilmas Okopon decides to start first because they want to evolve immediately. Yeah, funnily enough, they actually started with Chikorita, so they already got that down. Starting with Pheasant is always not the best because for Dragapult players, they usually tend to retreat into Voodoo turn 1. He's actually playing the Blaziken Dragapult variant. Yeah, so Shaymin in this matchup is very important. Okay, he's immediately eyeing up the Shaymin with the Poker Pad. Ideally, he wants to set up more Pokemons here with a Poffin maybe. Yep, benching the Shaymin. Probably he already knew that the opponent is probably playing some form of Arboliva deck, and that is why he straight away go for the Poffins here. Because usually, if let's say they are just viewing a Tilmas Ogopon and Chikorita, you never know what deck they're actually playing. Because right now there is like the Hydrapple deck going around, whereby Shaymin is actually taking up an extra bench space. So you wouldn't really want to bench Shaymin to begin with. Whilst over here, he chooses to bench the Shaymin, probably he already knew that the opponent is playing Bolivar. So with the Tilmas decks, right, there are multiple variants. That those that are playing Meganium, there's actually 3 different variants here. We have Mega Venusaur, Arboliva, as well as Hydrapple, right? So yeah, so Carlo decided to go for Shaymin and then benching up 2 Dreepy, but not going for the attach plus the Budew play. Okay, probably just say, probably doesn't have it, so he didn't even bench a Torchic as well. So we did see a Dawn in hand for the Arboliva player, Mr. Michael over here. Okay, so Dawn probably is gonna search up his Meganium pieces, or if anything, his Arboliva pieces. Over here, Arboliva isn't the best. Probably getting Meganium over here and attaching onto Tilmos Ogopon. You can actually take the knockout on the Pheasant DPT if you have a Meganium in play, right? Because 3 energy attachments is total of 6 plus 1 with the Meganium. Meganium has the ability doubling of each grass basic in play lah. I mean grass energy in play. So with that, Tilmas is able to one-shot Pheasant. So we see that he finds a Hoot Hoot, a Noctowl. Probably he already has a Bayleaf in hand. Hopefully a Forest as well. Okay, no, he doesn't have that. Okay, so he's benching the Hoot Hoot. Hopefully going for the next turn attack. Unfair Stamp also in hand with Boss Order, right? Yeah, so it's a bit slow on the uptick here. Probably, oh wow, he chooses to pass. Like, oh okay. I was thinking that he might retreat the Chikorita here into Tilmas and probably attach and do another attack because he has a Noctowl set up as well. Probably he's just worried that he might get Ichipollen for 10 and in the future Carlo is able to set up a Phantom Dive one shot as well. So moving into Carlo's turn, Carlo is just debating into like what is he supposed to do. He wants to get a Budew or a mystery card at Ultra Ball. But I don't think it's rare candy. Yeah, so a Budew. Ichipollen here might stop any form of like, attachments and whatnot, but Noctowl is in play. Noctowl is going to be evolved next turn, I mean. Okay, attaches the Fire, Ultra Balls, the Dragapult, and Blaziken away, probably for a Meowth to Lily up, get a full hand of 8, if anything. Yeah, and then probably retreating into the Bedew and Ichipalan. Yeah, so Dragapult's game plan, unfortunately, it's kind of boring. They just Ichipalan to buy some time. Okay, let's see what his 8 cards are. There's the quick shuffle, a quick card as well. Yeah, so ideally he wants to find another Dracloak here. Doesn't need a rare candy Dragapult immediately. Although I would love to, I mean, I hope next turn he's able to draw his Crispin if anything. Okay, so Ultra Ball, thinning out, probably throwing the Puffin and the Budew. Oh, okay. Okay, he's not planning. Okay, he's choosing to keep the Puffin in hand. Probably after the Budew knockout, he is able to Puffin out the Torchic easier that way. Okay, so throwing the Monkey Dory and the second Budew, thinking that he doesn't need it because anyhow his hand has a stretcher as well. So Recon Directive finds him boss and a mystery card. He's choosing boss order for the next turn. Retreats into each pollen straightforward here. Okay, so yeah, for Michael it's a little bit. Oh, okay, he top decks the forest, which is pretty good. Ideally, he needs Bayleaf here. If he gets Bayleaf, that would be quite sick. I'm not gonna lie, because if he gets Bayleaf, it's a immediate boss order knockout onto Pheasant, whilst keeping your Noctowl options available as well. Granted, he wants to set up more Tilmas Ogopon or either probably a Arboliva, if anything, just to ensure that he's able to play cards, after probably an unfair stamp, those kind of things. So yeah, interesting enough, like for both Michael and Carlo, both the Arboliva as well as the Dragapult decks, they run Ace spec unfair stamp as the option. So it's more or less like a mini disruption card, especially if let's say you disrupt early game, they might just break and cannot proceed to play the game and you just steamroll from there. Although Dragapult is more less susceptible into the unfair stand because of recon directive, right? Okay, so searching out Dawn as well as a bug catching set. Notably, he isn't able to use the item because he's under item lock. Okay, Noctowl searching 2 cards here. I mean, he's searching for Dawn right now, going probably for the Arboliva play. Yep, finding a Bayleaf, I assume. Yep, there's a Bayleaf, a small leaf, and an Arboliva. Probably gonna evolve up into the Meganium as well as the Arboliva retreat and do all salvo to Budew, or probably just all salvo the Pheasant is also good. Like you put all 120 damage because Shamin actually doesn't block EX Pokemon, so there's an upside, right? Okay, let's see what Michael does here. Okay, so okay, so he retreats into Noctowl. Oh, he plans to use Noctowl's ability. I mean, a Noctowl's attack for 60, and takes the knockout on Bedew. Although I prefer the 120 damage play onto Pheasant Deputy, because it sets up another 120 and knockout onto the Pheasant. Yeah, so item lock isn't that great here because you already got your Arboliva, you already get your Meganium as well in play. Yep. So Puffin, as we said last turn, he didn't Ultra Ball away because he was expecting his Voodoo to get KO. And yeah, Puffin for Torchic. Setting up for the Blaziken for next turn. So Blaziken is pretty good attacker. A fire attacker into these grass Pokemons are an easy trade. Whereas for Michael, it may take more energies than needed to take out a Blaziken directly, you see. Because Blaziken with 2 energy attached is still 320. 320. In order to reach 320 damage, they needs a total of 10. So a multiplier of 10 times 30 energies, quote unquote. So you need there's already 2 plus 1, as in like 2 energy onto Blaziken and 1 on the base 30 damage, so you need 7. So in a way, Michael needs like a Teal Dance plus energy attachment on a full-blown Blaziken, 4 energies, and can take the knockout that way. Okay, so he decides to attach the psychic energy. With this play, probably he thinks that okay, cool. Shamey is going to get knocked out. But the thing is, with knocked out, it says 60 damage. Okay, so he's going to try to stall here for one turn with boss order. Okay, and passes over. So like a rare candy, rare candy to Blaziken here is pretty good because it can take out the knocked if let's just say Michael isn't able to retreat. Bug catching set to okay, bug catching set used. Okay, because it's no longer under item lock. Bug catching basically looks at top 7, search for grass Pokemon or grass energy. Okay, he finds a teal mask and a grass energy, probably using to retreat if he doesn't have any grass energy in hand. But granted he already teal done, so probably he already has one in hand anyways. Okay, so with the teal mask engine itself, right, we think of it, we the players here, we think of it as a one bug catching set is basically like a draw tree, like an ancestral recall if you were if you were to have a magic reference. Purely because if let's say bug catching set actually finds teal mask Ogopon as well as a grass energy, with the teal dance ability, you're basically drawing 2+1, dealing 2 cards out of the deck. With the teal mask ability, you're going to draw one more. So in a way, you are drawing 3 cards. Although 2 of the cards are known beforehand lah. So yeah, for example, here this bug catching set technically is a draw 2 because you get 1 grass energy and 1 Dolph. Probably a retreat here into the Tilmas Ogopon, taking a knockout. It'll be decent. But it sets up for Carlo in a way going into the Blaziken route and start doing damage that way. I mean like taking a knockout using Blaziken is pretty it's quite normal so I guess. Okay, so attachment for turn. He hasn't quite used a supporter, I believe. So he has a boss order in hand. Okay, Teal Dance. I believe over here, if let's say he goes for the Torchic here, it's not a bad play also, to be honest. Like if you go a boss for the Torchic, he and then Carlo goes evolve Dragapult, you can just respond to a knockout with the yeah. So bosses up the Torchic, retreats. Yep, takes a knockout on the Torchic. So if let's just say Carlo evolves into Dragapult here, does 200 damage. It doesn't get a knockout onto Michael's active Teal Mask, right? So Michael can just respawn for a knockout. The only difference is that Carlo can take 4 prizes in return because of the Phantom Dive attack. Granted, Carlo is on the back foot here, and Michael is steaming ahead because let's just say Michael just takes a 2 prize knockout here. Okay, onto the Dragapult. He'll left with 2 prize, and 2 prizes is not hard for a deck like Michael's to achieve because he can just set up like one more Tilmas Ogopon at the bench with energies loaded up, and he can try to go boss for the knockout on Meowth EX. Alternatively, what I see players do is that they will set up for 2 turns knockouts, or after they knock out the Dragapult, they all salvo twice onto the Meowth EX. There's also a play as well. So going through the hand, he's used all recon directives as well as pheasant draw tree. Okay, so it manually attached because there's no Blaziken. Blaziken's ability being the one that is able to get energy from the graveyard or the discard pile into one of your Pokemon. Seeding Spirit, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Ultra Ball's out for Dragapult. I'm assuming if he has a stretcher in hand, he should be night stretchering for the Torchic as well. Because Torchic basically is like the key part of the deck here, basically speaking. Okay, unfortunately Carlo is not drawing his unfair stamp, which is quite sad. If he gets unfair stamp here, maybe he's able to survive. Looks like unfair stamp is priced based on his deck check here. Okay, so it dawn for 1 Pokemon only. That's kind of sad. Maybe he should have just dawn beforehand and instead of Ultra Ball and get Dragapult. If dawn was the play to begin with. Okay, so Phantom Dive, 200 damage. Obviously 10 on the Tilmas Ogopon. And probably I would like 50 damage onto the Noctowl here. Yeah, 50 damage onto the Noctowl is pretty good. Okay, so if he puts 50 damage onto the Noctowl, right, he sets up a 5 price knockout, right, whereby he can just boss up the Tilmas at the bench, put 5 damage counters onto the Noctowl and 10 damage on my 1 damage counter onto the Tilmas and takes 5 price. But seems like he didn't catch it over here. Okay, moving into Michael's turn. A Teal Dance is more than enough to take a knockout on Dragapult as we have the Meganium in play. From Michael's side, or from Carl, I mean from Michael's side, yes, probably he's just gonna bench another Tilmas, set it up that way, probably get 2 energies onto the Tilmas ideally on the bench. And yeah, it is more or less good to go here. Because the damage is more than enough to take a knockout. If Carlo goes for another Dragapult. Okay, so we see what's the Ultra Balls. His hand size is quite low. Eyeing up the Lana's 8 here for more grass energy. So it's like Ultra Ball for Meowth, Meowth for Lana's 8. This is kind of scary, but yeah, this is what it is. Because right now, right, a boss basically destroys Michael's board, whereby he doesn't have any more attackers and he can't go aggressive for the Meowth EX per se. However, Carlo still has to draw the boss order, right? Because the thing is, if Carlo doesn't draw the boss order next turn, he is in a precarious position. He probably just loses outright. Okay, so 2 grass energies being grabbed for Michael. Okay, I assume that's double Teal Dance. Yep, Teal Dance number 1 draws a card. And you are more or less set up to kill the Dragapult EX because you have total of 11 of 4 grass energy times 2 with 2 more energy there, as well as 30 damage. You are guaranteed a knockout, basically speaking. Yep, so just counting the energies to ensure the knockout. Yep, 330 damage takes the knockout. Promotes the Dracloak. That means he probably already has Rare Candy Chicken. Yep, 2 Night Stretchers in hand. Rare Candy, Blaziken, 2 Night Stretchers, 1 Night Stretcher can find Dragapult EX, one Night Stretcher can find the energy as well. Oh, okay. Choose the Pheasant first. Yeah, a Recon Directive. Okay. Watchtower doesn't matter here. Unfair Stand being in price really hurts the Dragapult player. So he's going for, yep, he founds the boss. So he exactly goes for the play. But the problem, like I said, so right now Michael is in a very big problem whereby the Blaziken next turn can basically one-shot anything on the board with another boss. Yeah, so Michael not able to set up another Tilmas here is quite bad. Okay, so Seeding Spirit from the Blaziken is going into attachment for the Dragapult. Probably going to Night Stretcher the other energy. Yeah, benching the GP. Oh, okay, he has it in hand. Okay, benching the GP as well. So next turn he can go into the Dracloak for more draw. Okay, he's still thinking. Yeah, so over here, what I like is that if let's just say he puts 5 damage counters onto the Noctowl beforehand, he can take 5 prizes, and anything that he pushes up, anything that Michael pushes up, is a knockout with Blaziken, right? Yeah, so that should be the better play, quote unquote. Okay. Although, the downside of this play here, Michael and Carlo. I mean, what Michael can do is that he can evolve into. I mean, he can promote Arboliva, right? So he can promote Arboliva and do 120 twice onto either Pheasant or Meowth EX over here. But of course, he needs to boss something. He probably needs to boss up the. He probably needs to boss up either Meowth or Pheasant and shoot whatever's behind. Yeah. So yeah, because purely right, if let's say he boss up the Blaziken, all they have to do is just attach 1 energy, a Seeding Spirit, and a knockout. But if he bosses Pheasant and shoot the Meowth for 120. He still needs another energy attachment onto the Pheasant, you see. And Phantom Dive doesn't exactly grant the knockout unless there's a boss order. Okay, so yep, bug catching on Ancestral Recall per se is being played. Okay, because he actually finds Teal Mask plus 1 grass energy. Probably can't reach 4 energies onto the Teal Mask Pond here because there's no energy in play as of now, and he still needs to retreat the Arboliva if needed. Okay, so yeah, puts it in hand. Hopefully he has the unfast stamp. I think he has it since long time ago. Okay, yep, plays the Teal Mask. Attaches to the front because he probably doesn't have it in hand. Doesn't have a grass in hand, is it? Okay, so Teal Dance 4. Okay, we didn't see anything. Okay, oh, energy switch. Okay, sure. Okay, he has an unfast stamp in hand, so probably going to bump the stadium. Although I don't really like bumping the stadium here, because if let's just say Carlo plays two meows, he can just meow for boss. And or either Michael. If let's say Michael plays two meows, sure, I understand that. But he has an Ultra Ball in hand and he probably doesn't play two meows. Yep. So going into this, he probably needs to boss order the Pheasant DPT. Okay, and shoot down one or either oil salvo the Meowth EX. Timer is running down. We have 4 more minutes on the clock. And in the rules of I would say TPC, if time call, the player who goes first, if the turn end goes on the player who goes first, it will go to the second player's turn, and if the second player's turn the game doesn't resolve, it will result in the double game loss. So 4 more minutes here. Oh, so he unfast stamps and he finds the boss. Promoting the Blaziken isn't the right play as one energy will take the knockout. Okay, so probably prefer bossing the Pheasant here. Okay, so he puffins. Oh, okay, he has a Lily and a GP. Okay, so he doesn't have the energy. Okay, so Puffin fails to find, I assume. There's no more Pokemon in the deck. If there is, that's a mistake here. Oh no, it's not a mistake because he already has 5 bench. Yeah, 5 bench anyways. Okay, so Lily, okay, we try to fade an energy. Okay, that's a darkness energy. Is there a fire energy in the discard pile? Is there a fire energy? I think so. Okay, that's a fire energy. Very early in the game. Yep, so the display is very real. all, all Salvo nearly does it. Okay, and they scoop it up. And Michael loses the match because of that misplay. Yep, a close one, but probably due to stream nervousness and whatnot, he may not have seen the play lah. Yeah, but watching it from the third eye view, of course, this is a misplay from this part. Okay, so then again, thanks for watching so much. See you in the next episode, guys.